Hi spooky friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I'm just doing a quick roundup for Summerween. We're in the midst of a heat wave in the UK and I decided to sit on the floor to hide from the sun. So let's get into it. Summerween is a readathon that is hosted by Gabby Reads. I will leave her channel down below. And it is like the most wonderful time in the summer because us autumn and Halloween freaks really don't do well in the heat. If you're like me, you're in the countdown to Halloween, even though your birthday comes first, you don't care. You just want to be in autumn, drinking some nice pumpkin spice lattes with a cozy sweater and a good book, a good spooky read, and the cool breeze, the leaves falling. Oh, the dream right now. But it is summer. We're in warm weather and sweaty behind the knees, you know, that type of weather. And to reminisce, we read spooky books to kind of get us in the mood, to get away from the heat, so to speak. So I have been taking part throughout the week. Do check out my short page. I do have 2 little Summerween vlogs in there. I just did some mini ones because I cannot commit to a full length, like 25-minute vlog, reading vlog. If you've been around, you know I'm really bad with checking in and giving you updates throughout the vlog. So that's not my strong point. So I thought doing little mini ones would be a good way to do that. So if you haven't watched those, I will leave them linked down below, maybe in the cards if I can do that. And yeah, do check those out because I do post my shorts every now and again. So with that, I'm now going to round up those books that I read and tell you a little bit about them and my thoughts. So I read 6 books this week. It did help with the fact I was like 70% of the way through one of these books. So yeah, there's a lot of pages here, but I didn't really read all of them in the week, if that makes sense. So let's get into it. Starting with the book that was on top, which was Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I was 70% of the way through this book before the start of the week, and I just thought I would continue to read this book and kind of finish it during Summerween. This book is Toxic Lesbian Vampires. That's all you need. It's just incredible. This edition, stunning. I did an unboxing for this, which I will leave linked because by the time this video goes out, that video will already be up. So check it out if you're interested in all of the goodness on the inside as well. So yes, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil is following 3 main women across different time periods. So we have a story set in the 1532, which is the story about hunger, and then you have the 1827 set in London, which is like the love story side. And then you have a story about rage, which is set in 2019 in Boston. So not only are we crossing time periods, we are jumping across countries as well, but we learn how all 3 of these women interconnect together, and it's just beautiful. It's, if you've read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, you'll know that the writing style is kind of similar. Very prose centered. It is very floral. It's one you really have to take your time reading and actually pay attention to it because there's just so many details and it's just beautifully written, and you can kind of see where the Bury Our Bones is like the angrier older sister of Addie LaRue, because Addie is kind of like the hopeful young adult trying to just get by in life, to actually have a life, and Bury Our Bones, the women in here, are just angry, they're hungry, they're enraged, and you can tell. I feel like her writing has matured in Bury Our Bones. It's just incredible, and I really loved reading this. And at the point I was comparing the two together, and then I realized I shouldn't do that. It's a whole different story in itself. So I give this 4.5 5 stars. And then I have The Midnight Carousel. This is a debut book for this author, Fiza Saeed Mikulin. Apologies if that is not how you pronounce it. But this is such a magical story. We're following this carousel that has some kind of magical elements, because there's a certain horse that people go missing around, and it's like, yeah, it's just spellbinding. So in this, we're following two timelines this time. In this book, we're following the 1914 set in Paris, and then also 1920 set in Chicago. So it's kind of jumping back and forth. This is like a mystery, so the detective trying to solve the crimes in Paris sees that something similar is happening in Chicago. He crosses over and tries to solve the mystery. I thought it was beautifully written. It felt very spellbinding, and a perfect read for the summer actually, because it has that mystical element, but it has your mystery that you would want to read about in a book like this. So I'm really glad I picked this one up. I had such a fun time reading in this and trying to piece together what could actually be happening with this carousel, and I was kind of surprised, to be fair, when we find out what exactly happened. So if you haven't heard of this, I would probably suggest picking this up if you really enjoy like your fantastical mysteries. I think it's a really good book. So I give this one 4 stars. Then we have the new Riley Sager book. This is With a Vengeance, and it's following a mystery on a train. So we have everybody who's brought together on this train because they did something wrong to the woman's family, and we're uncovering everything that they did to her family, and somebody dies on this train, and then it becomes a murder mystery. So it is very influenced by Agatha Christie, of course. The Murder on the Orient Express always comes to mind when I think about train murders, and like this locked in, they can't go anywhere sort of vibe. It was very intriguing, and I think this is probably one of his better books in recent years. I really hated the middle of the night. It was just so bad, so I was kind of worried about With a Vengeance, just in case it was kind of similar. But no, honestly, I loved this book so much. I felt like that pace, as if a train was moving, if that makes sense. So each time we're following like 6 hours to Chicago, 4 hours to Chicago, so it kept moving like a train does. So I really enjoyed that. The overall writing style, so much better than Middle of the Night. No, none of the characters were really that annoying. I think the plot twist was definitely good. I didn't really see it coming, and I think some people have said that they did, so maybe I'm losing my touch with thrillers, but I was thrilled to read this, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I give this one 4 stars. Then we have Omniviolence by Jones Worthington. This book I've read as part of a read along sort of thing with the Insta book tour, and I feel bad because I didn't actually enjoy this book. It had incredible premise, but it just didn't really deliver. So essentially this book is following the idea that democratizing the technologies and cryptocurrency just doesn't work well, and it's like total disbandment of the government, absolute chaos, and obviously everybody is just out for themselves. It seems like it had a very futuristic sci-fi sort of satire thriller style. Like, I didn't really connect with the characters all that well. and it just read really slowly. I did love the violence in here because it was obviously meant to be more violent, but unfortunately it just didn't really hit for me, and overall the experience really didn't feel all that good. So I give this one 2 stars. We have Off Season by Jack Ketchum. Wow, I really enjoyed this book. It had that darker autumn feel. I really enjoyed reading it for that reason, and it is gross. The descriptions in here really did, I mean, I can see why it says it's uncensored now, because this book was originally published with a lot of edits, but we now have the author's unedited version, and yeah, it's dark, it's grim, it's full of cannibals, but I really loved it. So yeah, I give this one 4 stars. Finally, we have Red River 7 by AJ Ryan. This book has been on my shelf for over a year, maybe a year and a half at this point, and I just never picked it up, and I don't know why, because once I started reading this, I was hooked. I love this book so much. So think like apocalyptic survival movie. This has that written all over it. We are following a group of people who have lost their memory. They have amnesia, and they all start waking up and on this boat which is in the middle of the ocean, and they have no idea why they are there, what happened to them, who they are. It really shows what humans would do in that situation. I feel like it is so grim, but it was very sci-fi heavy as well. The book then follows this group of people on the boat, which has a course set for the Thames in London, and once they get there, it doesn't feel like the London that it used to be. So it's very apocalyptic. They are on a course for survival. It has a lot of grossness. It's so entertaining. It read so quickly, and it, like, for me anyway, it did feel like a movie script. I could just picture it in my head. I really enjoyed reading it, and I've given it 4 stars. So yeah, those are the 6 books that I read for Summerween this week. My reading is probably going to slow down over the next couple of weeks. I read a lot during Summerween. Let me know if you took part in Summerween this year. What did you read? Have you read any of these books? Would you recommend them? I highly recommend all the books that I have read. I just think everybody needs to experience these books at least once in their life. And thanks to Gabby for hosting this year again. It is so much fun to take part in, and yeah, pick up books that I need to pick up, especially like Red River 7, because one of the prompts was a book you've had for over a year, and that was the one I picked. Without Gabby, I probably wouldn't have found that I did enjoy that book. So with that, I think I'm going to end this video here, and I will catch you in the next one. But until then, keep your pages turning and embrace the darkness. Bye!